This video will cover the basics of automation in Live. Now, automation is pretty much just data that's associated with a particular parameter, which can change that parameter over time. So we can have automation data that's associated with volume, with panning, with effect parameters, and so on. We can use automation to create a sense of change as our music progresses. So for example, I've got a track here. And what I'd like to do is to add some effects to give this track some more life. So in this case, I'm going to add a frequency shifter. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to add some automation data for this frequency parameter here. I'm firstly going to make sure that the frequency shifter is selected up in my track view menu. That will then populate the subcategory with all the parameters that are available in this particular audio effect. Now you can see that because I've selected the coarse parameter, that value is now represented with this pink dashed line. This line will change depending on what the value in the parameter is in the effect itself. But because it's dashed, this tells us that there's no automation data associated with this particular parameter at this point. To add automation data, I can simply create breakpoints by clicking on the line. I can move those breakpoints around, and I can also delete them by clicking on them. Now that I've added automation to that parameter, we can see that there's a pink square next to that device in my category menu, and a pink square next to the particular parameter within the submenu, and also a pink square next to the parameter on the device itself. As I play back the automation data, we can observe that the parameter is going to play back and follow the automation data itself as well. In addition to using breakpoints, I can also use the pen tool, which we can find up the top right here. Now that I've turned the pen tool on, I can simply draw in data like so, and the data resolution is going to be the same size as whatever the grid is at this point in time. So for example, my grid is set to 16ths. Automatically, any data that I draw will take that time resolution. So I might like to change my grid length to, let's say, 8ths, and we can see that the data is more coarse. What I'd like to do is just write some automation data for the very first bar. Once I have some automation that I'm happy with, I can manipulate it, change it, copy it by simply selecting it, control-clicking on that area, and then selecting Duplicate Envelope to copy it across to other bars. Note that Duplicate Envelope will not actually duplicate the regions underneath, just the automation envelope, like so. I can then select parts of my automation envelope, and I can place the cursor near the automation until it goes blue, and then I can move it up and down to change multiple values at once. In addition to using breakpoints and the pencil tool, I can also record automation in real time. If I simply hit record up in my transport, and I then change any parameters, those parameter changes will automatically be recorded as automation data. And so we can see there that as I was moving that parameter with the mouse, it was automatically recording automation data to the track. And if I now play back this data, we can follow along as that parameter changes.